Hello everybody, it's voting time on the C.H.A.B.I.S YouTube channel. Today is kind of voting day. Actually voting day is next Sunday, 27th of December. But today I looked through what's going on. And we have quite a few things to do. And I speak English because it's for my friends from other countries, from outside Switzerland. In Switzerland it's like this: about 4 times a year we have voting and sometimes also election day. And what we have to vote for or against is whenever our parliament or the government are either not able to fix their problems themselves because one party is against everything, or they just don't come to a sensible compromise, or when they decided about something but another group of people thinks it is not a good thing, goes into the wrong direction. If the group is big enough, they can ask for a vote. And in cases when the government seemingly ignored something which a large enough part of inhabitants population, I have to cut this video afterwards, I see. Large enough portion of the population does not like, if a large enough part of the population wants the government to do something they do not actually want to do themselves, we, the whole people, and actually the sovereign of Switzerland, have to vote for or against it. It has to be formulated in a way that it can be answered with yes or no. Sometimes also kind of yes but, because there can be variations. And what you have this time, I guess this is also based on or caused by the COVID-19 situation, and we have a bit more this time. We have a so-called referendum or Initiative in German, which is something a part of the population wants to be done even though the parliament and the government do not want to do it. This is to actually stop people immigrating into Switzerland once again. This time immigration from the European Union, and yeah, it would mean to actually try to renegotiate central parts of our relations to the European Union. Some people think this is a good idea. I personally think the EU being, no idea, 500 million people and we are 9, so they are roughly 60 times as big as we are. So I'm not sure if they want to renegotiate anything with us. Anyway, they asked, they did the process, we have to vote. Then we have a law, a hunting law, which got changed a lot by the parliament, and in the end a significant part of the population think the result is not good, to say the least. And this is called a referendum. So they asked the population if we do want the law the way it is, or if we do not want this law, which means it goes back to the law which is currently valid. So this is the hunting law. Then we have, this is a change of a law too. This is all on national level, by the way, federal law. This is a federal law which should allow more tax deduction for children. If you have children, you can deduct more money from your taxes, which does not mean you deduct it from the amount of taxes you actually pay, but from the base on this, which is used to calculate your taxes. That is quite an important thing to understand why some people were against it, and we have this referendum now. Because if you don't earn much money, you are already very low, and then deducting something from this low amount does not change really much on the amount you have to pay actually. But if you earn a lot of money, this tax deduction helps you quite a lot, because the amount you pay in the end is getting lower, actually lower, because if you are already close to the minimum, you pay next to nothing in taxes, and if you deduct something, you just get below zero. So it's nothing or nothing. And this is why some parts of the political spectrum say it does not make sense anymore. And then we have another federal law. This one is, I guess, is something. Yes, this is a different situation, because this is a federal law which I don't know if it's a referendum. I have to check. It's number 4. This is going to be a long video. That's the hunting law. Because I'm not sure if this law must be decided by the population anyway. There can be things which automatically have to be decided by the population, and things which have only to be decided by the population if somebody says they have to. Okay, it was a referendum too, yes. It was, but it was something the government wants to allow men to also get the vaccination if they become dads. Or they can spend a week with a newborn child and the mother at home, and it's paid exactly the same way as it's done for women which already can do this. It's actually for dads doing the same, and some parts of the population think dads should not be allowed to do this. Other things think it should be. The government thinks they should be allowed. Some people think they should not, or they can do it with their vacation, or they can do it unpaid because they have enough money. So it was also a referendum. And number 5 is also a referendum. This is the army wants to buy new fighter jets, and this is always a political disaster in Switzerland. Or is it a referendum? Yes, it at least it has a referendum committee. But this is always 110% sure that there is a referendum, so the Minister of Defense already designs everything that way, because they already know they will have to bring it in front of the people. Because it's a lot of money, and it's always so that roughly half of the population probably more or less thinks we don't need those expensive stuff. The other half thinks we have to have them. And the third half is somewhere in between. I know, percentages. So actually we have those 5 things. One is an Initiative, so which is not a law, and it's a change of the constitution, by the way. We have only that on national level. And 4 are laws which the parliament could not find a compromise, which actually made everybody happy enough, or not unhappy enough. Probably both. Because that's with a compromise. You either have a compromise where everybody is unhappy, or you have a compromise where everybody is happy. Most of the time everybody is unhappy, but not unhappy enough to go against it. So this is the 5 things, and then I have a 6th one, which is on state level. This one, this is actually just money for building a new administration building in the capital, the state capital, or an extension to the existing one. So this is normally not really a problem, even though it's not exactly cheap. It's 39,800,000 Swiss francs. And yeah, you can do quite a lot with 39 million, or nearly 40 million. Probably they made it a bit under 40 million because that sounds a bit better. After all, you always know in the end how much it actually costs. But for a small and not highly industrialized state of Switzerland, 40 million it's quite a bit of money. At the other hand, I guess this is the first time in, not sure if it's a century or something, that they wanted to build something like this. And it also means it's they don't have to rent because they have their own house. So you can say they say it's 630,000 per year in rents, which comes back. And well, money the state pays goes into the pockets of the population, of the people. So it's normally not a big problem if the state wants to build. And I have seen the situation, of course. It's 20 minutes from here. I'm at the edge of the state, and 20 minutes by car from here is the capital, and another 20 minutes you're in Germany. Yeah, roughly. So I know how things are in the capital. So now I could read 38 pages. No, 80. 85 and another 15, so it's quite pretty much 100 pages to read. Or I could decide on what the way my stomach tells me. I have a pretty good idea of what I want to vote for or against, actually. But I have several parts where I could do with the other result as well. So it's not really hard, actually, if you see yourself as part of the political process and are kind of interested in things, and you are already nearing 45 years, so this means 25 years of being in the political process. You get a general idea of how you want things to be. So it does not take me much time to actually fill in the form. But as I have to say, for the first initiative about immigration, I have a pretty clear view. For the hunting law, I have a pretty clear view. I could do with the other variety too, but wouldn't like it very much. For the one with the taxes, I have also a pretty clear view about how it is. And the funny thing is here, the law did so much get changed in the parliament so much that the government does not like it anymore. They have to support it still, that's their job, but they do not actually want to. That's a funny situation. But the government is not the boss. The parliament is ranking higher than the government, and the voters are ranking higher than both of them. So I'm actually one of 9 million bosses here. Okay, I think you can 2 million can't vote, so it makes 6 million or 5 million bosses. It's still quite many. But I am part of their bosses. So the government is not my boss, I'm the governance boss. I'm the parliament's boss, and the parliament is the government's boss. So the government is actually quite low. Funny thing. if you think about it. So anyway, I have quite a clear idea about this. Then one with the week for dads to be with their family after birth. I have a pretty clear position about this. I actually think most of Switzerland has. I guess this is, I would be surprised if this would be a close case or tie or something. And with the fighter jets, I'm not so clear actually. The thing is just, do you trust the army or do you not trust the army? And I'm always kind of in between. I could even leave it empty. It would, of course, this means the vote is invalid and it is discarded. But if you can leave it both sides, okay, that's something you can do. So, and the money for the building, there I have a very clear view too, and those end up normally as a yes. Would be very surprised if it would not. It can be at times, but I guess this is a pretty reasonable thing here. So I think if I write a no, I can do it, but I would not win probably. So yeah, let's fill it in. I don't show you what I wrote. I guess you can quite guess from the way I talk what I would put in. It's hard to really hide your positions, but after all, that's not a problem. So, see, that's right. Yes. That's not a good pen. But the more readable, the better. You have to read the questions quite well, by the way. Sometimes they are. You have to say no to mean yes, and this normally ends up in unhappy people. Let's put it like this. So I'm actually going to leave that one open where I'm still undecided. I guess I will bring it directly to the municipality somewhere next week. Because I'm so close to the the local government building of this village. I can go there and bring the paper myself easily. But we have a well established and well working mail voting in Switzerland. doing this for decades. So I wouldn't say it's the same with 300 million people, of course, but it can be done with 6 million voters quite easily. Now that's it. I'll post this video somewhere next week, I guess, or maybe even at this voting Sunday or after, because I made this video not for the Swiss voters, actually, for some to change the votes or something. I made this video to explain how things work in Switzerland in politics, with voting and elections, and this can be done after voting day too. So I am